Alright, so there's not too many videos out there specifically for the second-gen Sequoias when you have a water leak and it's coming from up above. Usually it's the drain tubes for the sunroof that are clogged, but there's also some other culprits. Sometimes the seal around the glass is not very good, but I don't think that's the situation in my case. I took the inside B-pillar cover off because it was starting to leak right at my left shoulder, and so I wanted to see if I could recreate the leak. So yesterday I was outside spraying the whole top of this area with water, basically from the B-pillar all the way up here, and couldn't get it to leak. And then of course we're in a rain event right now for the next couple of weeks, so I need to figure out where this thing is leaking from. So what I did determine though this morning when I left to take the kids to school is it wasn't leaking when I started driving and went up the driveway, took the kids to school, but when I came to my very first stop, all of a sudden the water started pouring in. Same spot, right on the inside of the B-pillar at the roof. So right then I figured it's probably that rear drain line tube that's clogged. But I wanted to go ahead and test my front ones, and it just so happens that I do not have weed whacker trim line, but I have this 1/8 inch by 10 foot skinny snake. And it just so happens that it fits perfectly in the front drain inlets. So basically I'm just feeding that down in there, and see if I can get a better, sorry about that. Let's try this again. Let's see if I can get a better. So it's basically at that corner right there. And this thing is perfect. It's going down and I'm feeding it. See if I can do this at the same time. So basically I'm just shoving this thing down and it's going down. So, and I've already tested these. Earlier I just poured water in this track and then watched, and the water went down. It didn't stay pulled up. And as you can see, there's nothing pulling all the way across there. We finally got a break in the rain, so I need to come out here and test this. But anyway, so I'm just going to keep snaking this all the way through and make sure that these front two are clear. The rear two are a little bit harder, just based on a first-gen Sequoia video that I watched. You actually access them from the back and run your whatever line you're using, run it from the bottom up. And then it's supposed to come out somewhere over here, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that thing to come out, but it's got to be clogged, because that just makes sense when I come to a stop and then all the water is rushing right here and just pours through. So that's going to be my next step, but I'm going to clear these front drain lines, or at least check them, make sure that they're clear. But again, this is a Cobra Tools skinny snake, so basically 1/8 inch, and it fits in the holes for the front drains perfectly. So little tool that didn't know I could use on the vehicle. Now I'm going to clean out the passenger side. Again, that drain hole is right back in there, so I'm just going to run this 1/8 inch drain snake. I'll see how well I can get this on video. So just going to run this down the hole. And basically just going to keep funneling that down. Should be able to see that. It's basically where it goes, right in there. There we go. And then just keep pushing that down until it won't go anymore. And where these front ones drain, it's actually, the tube ends right above a pinch weld. and so you don't actually, or you can't see the tube from underneath, but it's down there because I poured water and it comes right at that pinch weld right behind and forward of the front part of your running board, if you still have those. So let's see if this is going to work or not. If it doesn't, no big deal, but I'm going to keep pushing this thing down. Until we can't go anymore. Not really sure how long the drain tube is, but it does go down the A-pillar, and then supposedly you can see it if you take off your front kick panel. You'll see it there, and then it doesn't end very far from that. Alright, that's as far. Well, actually, it'll go a little bit more. Let's see, let's twist back this way. Who knew you could use a kitchen drain tool on your vehicle? Alright, I think I'm at the end. I don't feel like I can push that anymore without forcing it. Maybe a little bit more. That's about it. So, I'll just pull it back out. That's maybe about 5 or 6 feet that you can go down. Yeah, 4 to 6 feet. So nothing came out on that. It's clean. I love it when one simple project leads to a bigger project. So got a leak, roof leak on the driver's side right at the B-pillar. It's coming in on a hard rain and usually when I'm braking. So that water is pushing forward. So I'm suspecting a rear drain driver's side clog. So to get to the other end of the hose, or that tube, you basically have to take off the mud flap, and then I thought I could get to it, but my tires are actually 275/65, so there's not much space in between there to allow me to get around to get to that tube. So off comes the wheel. And now I have access to that tube. And it is, let's see if I can get this, see that clear tube right behind here? There she is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my 1/8 inch drain snake back up through there, and hopefully I can get all the way up. I've got a 10-foot snake, so hopefully I can get that up in there. But anyway, if you ever want to know where it comes out for the rear, it's basically back behind. So yeah, fun times. So this is a 10-foot snake, and I've only got about maybe a foot, 1.5 to 2 feet left, and I am not able to push it up anymore, but I do not see it coming out the top either. So, and they said on the first gen video that I watched that you may not even see it come out. So there's like a very, very small orifice up there. So now let's pull this thing out, see if it reveals anything on the end. And nope, I don't see anything on the end of that. So I'm not even sure how far it got up in there. Alright, so today's task is cleaning out the rear sunroof drain tubes. I've got a clog of some type on the driver's side, which is causing a leak, after heavy rains, and it's basically leaking at the second row headliner, about right in this spot. And I can just pull it a little bit and water just pours out. So and then if I stop, it actually travels forward and then comes out the B-pillar at the top and drains on the top of my seat and on my shoulder, left shoulder. So anyway, today took that down. I haven't inspected the tubes yet, but interestingly enough, on the driver's side back there, that's actually a white tube. Let's see if I can get back there and show you. Yeah, so that's it right there. It's a white tube, but interestingly enough, over on the driver's side, it's got like a pink hue to it. So I don't know if that's by design, or if I definitely have a clog of some type and it's causing that discoloration. But anyway, I'm gonna take those down, clean them out really well, hoping that that solves the issue, and we'll see what happens. But to get that off, you do have to take off several covers. It's pretty straightforward. You're just taking off the A-pillar front cover, and you have to take off the kick panel cover, this cover here, the entire B-pillar that runs from top to bottom. And really the reason why you have to do that is that it gives you the opportunity to take out the door seals on all four doors, and then that helps you drop the headliner down. You don't have to worry about the airbags. They're not in the way. You're not going to set those off. You do have to take off the front overhead console, which is easy. It's just 2 screws and a plug. You have to take off the door handles, and you don't have to remove the vents for the AC system, but pretty straightforward. And then it just drops. It's just held in with these Velcro. Little Velcro. Looks like I'm missing one right there, but they're little Velcro strips, and then they just go up on the roof to the corresponding spot. So I have to fix that one there, and then there's a couple over there, a couple in the front. But yeah, pretty straightforward. Actually, there's 4 in the front. 1, 2, 3, and 4 down there. So, and then they connect right there on the frame of the sunroof. So, actually not too bad. It's just tedious, so just take your time. Later on I'll show you how to put the handles back up. They're actually really easy. They're just held in by clips. So yeah, I'm going to get to definitely cleaning this one out. Hopefully I find a bunch of gunk and I can get that thing cleared out. Alright, so that drain tube basically just has that little clip there, so I just squeezed that and pushed it back. I'm going to try to take this thing out while I'm videoing. It actually feels like it's pretty easy to move. Let me get a towel just in case I got some junk. Alright, got the towel in place. I'm just going to slide this thing off. And, well, shoot. Doesn't look like there's anything in there. That looks pretty clean. So, maybe it's actually up in that little nub. But yeah, the tube looks pretty clean. So I'm hoping I have some gunk up in there. So we'll see. I'll let you know. So earlier I said the overhead console is held in by 2 screws. Yeah, it's actually 4. I kid you not, this is how I found this when I took it out. One of the screws is actually just stuck in here, and then the whole thing was put up in the car. So this thing had only been hanging by 2 and not these 2. Of course, there's little clips that go kind of up there, but yeah. The joys of finding what previous owners and or service technicians do to these things, unbelievable. So at least I'll have 3 screws to hold it up, and I can probably find one in my parts bin. So yeah, 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. So fun stuff. So I got the tube disconnected from the back of the sunroof frame, and just to test, I'm pretty sure that line is clear, but to test it, I've hooked up a smaller diameter tube inside that, clamped it, and then I'm going to pour some water into this end, and it should come out right back behind here is usually where the, well, I know that's where the tube is because I've had it disconnected. So I'm going to put this down on the ground, let it record, and see if we get any water from it. And I'm going to force it down with a little bit of compressed air from my air compressor. So see what happens. Okay, it came out. I had the angle wrong, but yep, it just dropped right there. It's all mud. So the tube, it's actually further underneath here, but it drains from the bumper cover and goes over. So yep, that line is clear. So next we're going to spray some air up into the actual hose mount, or whatever you call that, that rear drain, and see if there's any gunk in there. So that little nub right above there, and get my air hose in there, spray it back the other way. I think I'm going to try to open up my sunroof and put a towel up there, see if it catches any of the water or anything, whatever's in there, so I can actually see it. That's the next step. All right, I'm trying to capture anything that comes out of that back drain. I'm gonna blow some air into that port in the back. Of course, it's gonna come this way, so we'll see if anything comes out. Hopefully it does. Alright, so that didn't actually reveal anything. So now what I'm going to do is pour some water down that track and let it come all the way back here and see if it's leaking out there anywhere. And basically what I'm doing is I'm pouring on the outside track. Well, I found my leak. It's actually, it just came, got all over my seat. It actually is coming from somewhere back over here. So there must be something missing, like a plug or something. I'll have to check that out. Well, I'll be, you see the track right there? And you see how there are 4 rivets? And you come over to the driver's side. Well, found the issue. It's not the drain tube after all, or that back port. It's actually the rivets. So there's basically 2 sets of rivets on this track. There's 4 here, and then you've got this cross brace, and then you have another 4. These 4 back here, 2 of them have been drilled out. You see which ones have been drilled out? Yeah. Top right, bottom left. And that's where the water's coming out. So somebody's been in here doing some crap, previous owner or whatever. Anyway, that's where it's leaking. So we'll just blow some air in there, dry it up as best I can, RTV it, call it a day. Wow. So this is going to be the solution. Permatex Ultra Black And I'm gonna go ahead and put this on all the rivets up there. Make sure I get all of those covered just for good measure. All right, all gooped up. Went ahead and did all 8, both sides. So let that dry up a little bit and then I'll reassemble. So the locations for the sunroof drain tubes, basically the rear ones are right at the end of the track. So there is the driver's side. It's like a pink looking tube. Not sure why it's pink, but it is clear, and I just found out. And then there is the passenger side, the white tube there. And then the front ones are pretty easy to get to. They're basically right in the corner on either side, right up here. So you basically just move the clip, pull the tube off, and check it. And if you have any leaks, that could be where it's coming from. So basically the headliner is just hung up with these hook and loop Velcro connectors. So you've got 2 here on the side, and then that would be on the passenger side. Driver's side has 2 over there as well. Over here on the side of the sunroof, you've got those 2, and then in the front, you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that holds that up. In the front, you've got this channel that basically holds up real close to the windshield. So, and it's got like some kind of sealant in there, so I'm not sure if that's actually supposed to be, or if somebody was trying to do it. I have no idea, previous owner, because basically on this side there is no sealant. On that side it looks like some clear RTV was applied for whatever reason. So anyway, yeah, it's pretty much just Velcro, and then the handles help hold it up when you put the handles back in, which is these 2 holes right here. The sun visors also help hold it up in the corner. Driver's side, on the side of the sunroof, there's not even any on these, totally blank. The roof ones are there to accept it, but there ain't anything there to hold it, so I'm going to fix that too while I'm in here. And yep, somebody's definitely been in here before, but all the rest of them are intact. So we'll get this thing back up here shortly. I'm thinking I'm going to put a little bit more RTV up there just for good measure now that this is sat for about an hour, and should be hardening up. But I'm going to put a little bit more, especially on this side where it's leaking. Make sure I've got it sealed up really good. Day 2 back on the project. So in order to fill these 2 Velcro pieces, they're actually not Velcro, it's that hook and hook, Velcro calls it, Alpha Lock fasteners. So it's basically hook on hook. So I bought these 1-inch squares. So put a square here, and that'll go up and hit the roof. And our TV has hardened up really well, so should be no more leaks. And I can button this thing back up. Yep, no more leaks at all. And just reverse everything, throw it all back together. Alright, so let me show you how these door handles work. And it's the same for any overhead handle. Not the ones on the A-pillar or the B-pillar, but the overhead ones that are in the headliner. So basically these clips, they just sit like this. And you can see they have, I'm just going to call them tines. And what happens is these sit up in these recesses where the tines will actually lock this in place like that when it's normally at rest. But when you squeeze it, you're able to pull the clip out. And normally what's going to happen is the clips are going to stay in there when you take the handles off, and then you just squeeze it and pull it out. And then the best thing to do, I watched another video, best thing to do to reassemble these is basically to put everything back together on the handle, and then you just clip the handle in. So the way these work is here we go, is this clip just sits on these are basically the covers, and so that's how the clip sits on the cover, and you basically just put it back together like so. And then what you can do is take it, put it back into the handle, and then go ahead and just clip it all the way in like so, and then you're going to actually push the clip all the way in, or actually the cover, I should say. So now the clip is all the way in, ready to go. Now this side is a little bit more difficult because it's spring loaded, which is what puts the handle back into the headliner when you let go of it. So I'm not sure if I can do this one-handed or not, but basically you get the idea. You're going to raise that up, put the clip in, and then they're ready to go. And then all you have to do is come up here and just push the clips in, and it'll lock it into place, and that locks the headliner in place so it's not moving. So let me do that real quick and I'll show you. And these covers actually come off. You just get a little pick or a small flat blade screwdriver, and either there or on the side, just pull it out and it'll come straight out. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is, let's see if I can do this. I'll put this one like so, and then put this other one up. Okay, so they're both in there. Basically just push it until you hear the click. Good to go. And that's how you take them off. Just pop those covers, and that will basically, you can squeeze those little metal clips, the handle will come off, and then when you squeeze them even more, you just pull them straight out. And you may have to finagle it a little bit, but they will come out. And that's how you do the overhead handles. All right, this should give you a little bit better video on how to put these door handles back together. So again, you got the clip, and you basically just make sure that clip is on there. It's pretty much universal, so you can put it on either way, doesn't matter. And make sure it's on that really well. And then what you're doing is you're just taking it, sliding it back, and the covers only go one way, so you can't mess it up in case you drop them or whatever. And then you're basically just going to slide it into the hole, and then just push that cover all the way in until it's all done. Other side that has the hinge, just hold it up. Same thing, make sure that clip is on there, and then you got your hole, push it in, all the way in. Now these things are locked, they're not going to fall, and then all we have to do is come back over to your overhead and push that in. Push that in, and then just push it until you hear those clicks. Done. I wanted to show you this before I put the C-pillar cover back on. So that little white latch right there, that is your up and down movement to adjust the seatbelt back here. All right, so obviously you squeeze that, and then you can move it up and down to adjust the shoulder height. So, also back there right behind it, see that black little ledge looking thing? That is the part that grabs that white. Let's see if I can get it in there. There we go. So that is the ledge, and that white part has to sit inside there so that when you grab it and move it up and down, it basically grabs it. So let me get that adjusted right, and then I'll show you how it works. Alright, so snap back on, and now we can grab that and adjust it. Same thing applies on the B-pillar. That cover will basically come up and sit on top of that white piece right there. It'll sit on top of that and do the same thing. That's the latch that moves the shoulder height. So just make sure when you put the B-pillar cover back on, you do the same thing. And then when you snap it back on, you're golden. Alright, then that 10mm bolt back there, tighten that up. And then you can pop the cover back in place. And then reverse, just pull that out with a little pick. Take the 10mm bolt out, and then all you have to do is just pop this just a little bit. That way the headliner has a little bit of give right there. Fortunately, I didn't have to go back further than this, so it wasn't too bad. But definitely make sure you get that latch, because you don't want that thing not working.